Americans were overwhelmed by the rise of a modern consumer culture in the 1920s. It brought about the extensive growth of exciting new opportunities to buy cars, appliances, and stylish clothing. The United States had quickly become a consumer society. Americans in the 1920s were the first to wear ready-made exact-size clothing. They were the first to play electric phonographs, use electric vacuum cleaners, listen to commercial radio broadcasts, and drink fresh orange juice year-round. There were products like iconic Kraft cheese, new pop such as 7-Up and Dr. Pepper, as well as Kellogg's Rice Krispies. In countless ways, large and small, American life was transformed during the 1920s in all aspects of life. Cars were the symbol of the new consumer society that emerged in the 1920s. Henry Ford revolutionized American manufacturing by introducing the automated assembly line. By using conveyor belts to bring automobile parts to workers, he reduced the assembly time for a Ford car from 12.5 hours in 1912 to just an hour and a half in 1914. Declining production costs allowed Ford to cut automobile prices 6 times between 1921 and 1925. The cost of a new Ford was reduced to just $290. Cars revolutionized the American way of life. Enthusiasts claimed that the automobile promoted family togetherness through evening rides, picnics, and weekend excursions. November 2nd, 1920, KDKA, the first commercial radio station in the United States, goes live in Pittsburgh. Soon later, the radio became a product of the mass market. The radio had become one of the greatest advancements in the entertainment industry. About 60% of American families purchased radios. Family gatherings were always accompanied by a radio. They gathered around the radio for the night entertainment to hear popular broadcasting such as music, sports events, lectures, fictional stories, newscasts, weather reports, market updates, comic readings, and political commentary. Radio stations like KYW enhanced a sense of community along different ethnic groups, as each group could listen to the programming suited to their interests and needs. Accompanying the rise of new consumer goods brought the nation's first $1 million advertising campaign. You Need a Biscuit in a Waterproof Box demonstrated advertising's power. Newspaper gossip columns, illuminated billboards, and commercial airplane flights were novelties during the 1920s. Before the 1920s, most advertisements consisted of vast expanses of print. Absent were brand names, pictures, or catchphrases. During the 1920s, advertisement agencies hired psychologists, including John B. Watson, the founder of behaviorism, and Edward Bernays, Sigmund Freud's nephew, to design the first campaigns. In the 1920s, more jobs paid middle-class salaries, while new devices, radios, vacuum cleaners, phonograms, washing machines, for example, came into the market or became affordable. While St. Louisians tended to buy their day-to-day necessities with cash, starting in the 20s, they bought most of their more expensive durable goods on an installment plan, also known as credit cards. Some money down at first, followed by a year of monthly payments. Economic historians calculated that while the 1920 few middle-class consumers used credit to buy goods, By the end of the decade, American consumers bought 60 to 70% of cars, 80 to 90% of furniture, 75% of washing machines, 65% of vacuum cleaners, 18 to 25% of jewelry, 75% of radios, and 80% of phonographs on the installment plan.
Advertisements in the 1920s was used to send out a message to a targeted group, for example, people who could afford the new cast iron. Nowadays, advertisements are there to give notion that some items exist or to influence us to buy certain things.
In the 1920s, all the cars looked almost exactly the same and there were very few colors. Nowadays, there are many different types of cars and they all have different colors and types.
Number 1. What were the main advancements in the 1920s? Number 2. How did the Model T car change the lives of Americans? Number 3. Did the invention of the radio have any effects? If so, what were they? Number 4. True or false? Credit cards did not change the life of Americans because they didn't use credit. Number 5. True or false? The main items bought with credit cards were furniture and vacuum cleaners.